Good morning, Alyssa. Are you working this morning too? I heard your husband Henry is a high-flying banking executive. Is it true? Surely you don't have to work so hard when your man's bringing in that much money. I fail to see why you'd be so desperate to sacrifice yourself as a corporate cannon fodder cubicle slave to a company that couldn't care less about you. If I were you, I'd be pouring all that energy into being the best stay-at-home housewife there ever was to make sure Henry had all of his needs provided for, if you catch my drift. If it was me, I'd sure as heck wouldn't be slacking on my womanly duties like you are. Oh, Henry is just so dreamy. He's so wasted on good-for-nothing corporate livestock like you. How on earth did you manage to bag yourself such a high-quality guy in the first place? I fail to see what he sees in you. If he's truly honest with himself, I'm sure he'd probably rather have a loyally devoted stay-at-home housewife like me as his wife. Good morning, Christine. Reading through your deluded fantasies first thing in the morning is so disgusting it's making me want to throw up. So would you kindly stop spamming my message box with your hate? Thanks. Huh? Disgusting? How dare you speak to me like that? Henry says he'll always love me whether I work or not. Oh dear, would you look at that? She accuses me of being delusional while coming up with ridiculous fantasies of her own. There's no way any man would ever say that, darling. Everyone knows men only look for two things in a woman: big boobs and good cooking. Are you sure all that working hasn't fried your neural circuits? You really should think before you speak sometimes. A high-flying stud like Henry, happy with a working wife? Now I've heard it all. My train will be arriving at the station soon and I have to make it to work, so I gotta go. Goodbye. Oh, how sad. You're such corporate livestock, you don't even have the freedom to message when you want to. That can only mean you probably don't have enough time to talk to your husband either. Oh dear, that poor man. Henry must be really lonely and sexually unsatisfied with you as his wife. If it was me with that ring on my finger, I'd become a stay-at-home housewife and listen to his troubles until the early hours. I'd be there for him whenever he needed me, his solid, dependable rock, his shoulder to cry on. Listen, Alyssa, don't you think it's best for Henry that you divorce him? At this rate, he'll be stuck with you for the rest of his life. Truly a fate worse than death.
Hey, Alyssa. I'm taking a late lunch break right now. What was that woman's name again? You know, the annoying one from kindergarten.
Huh?
You know, the one you said was a pain in the ass to talk to. The one who keeps insulting you, calling you stuff like corporate livestock, bugging you all the time with random hate-filled messages.
Oh, Christine?
Ah, that's it. So that was her name.
Did something happen with her?
Well, she's been waiting in the lobby of the bank all morning. She's only just left.
Jesus, are you kidding me? You mean she showed up to your workplace at the bank by the station?
Yeah, she was here until about an hour ago. I had a suspicion that was who she was, so I didn't go over and speak to her myself, but when I asked one of my coworkers to go over and see what she wanted, apparently, she pretty much ignored everything he asked her while staring at me as I dealt with another customer before suddenly getting up and walking out.
Wow, incredible. She must really have a lot of free time on her hands.
Is that all this is?
Gah, nope, no. I think there's actually more to it. I wasn't sure whether I should tell you about this, but if she's doing weird stuff like showing up at your workplace now, I think it's for the best that you know.
Know what? What is it?
I think Christine might be trying to steal you from me.
Steal me? From you?
She just showed up at your workplace, right? I think that from now on, at least for the foreseeable future, you should operate under the assumption that you're being stalked.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Yep, I'm serious. To tell you the truth, she's been sending me lots of messages recently that would indicate that's what she's trying to do. To be honest, a part of me suspected she might do something crazy, but I guess the rest of me didn't want to accept it. Then finally, the other day, I got a message that made it as plain as day that what she's trying to do here is cause me and you to get a divorce.
Man, I can't believe it. Christine, seriously? She's about as far away from being my type of woman as could possibly be. And look, to tell you the truth, I hate girls who act the way she does.
I know that, which is why I know there's no danger of you ever looking at her in that way, and honestly, I'd be happy just to ignore her if she didn't cause anyone any problems. But if she's already doing crazy stuff like showing up at your workplace while you're on shift, we might have to start proceeding with a little more caution.
I'll tell you what, babe. I'll explain the situation to my boss so that if she shows up again, you can be ready this time. Let's just see how things play out for now.
Yeah, good idea. It'll help if your coworkers know what she looks like. I'll be on my guard too. I'll let you know if she says anything else, okay? Sorry for keeping this from you, Henry. I just didn't want to bother you is all, but I never expected her to start acting like this.
Don't worry about it, Alyssa. I totally understand why you didn't tell me. All right, I have to go. Catch you later. Listen, that woman is totally insane.
What happened?
It's Christine. She started working at the convenience store across the road from the bank.
She started doing what?
When I went to the store before work to grab some sandwiches and a drink for my lunch, I was browsing the sandwiches when she slithered around the corner from behind me all of a sudden, wearing one of the store uniforms. Then positioned herself between me and the sandwich counter so we were facing each other head on, and there was like 1 centimeter between us, and stared at me intently with the creepiest, most spine-chilling smile I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, that sounds like something out of a horror movie. Wait a sec. So she suddenly has a job after calling me corporate livestock all this time? At a convenience store, no less?
Hey, that's a good point. Do you think she knows?
I'm guessing she started working there because she doesn't. I'm gonna do a little digging. Will you carry on keeping an eye on her for the time being? Make sure she doesn't notice you if you can avoid it, though. It's important we don't let our guard down here. There's no telling what she might do next.
Got it. You're right, Alyssa. You too, babe. Stay safe.
Hey, Alyssa. If I told you my plan to get closer to Henry was going amazingly well, what would you say? He is such a sweetheart. Can you believe he's been using his breaks from work to come and see me? But when I stare deep into his eyes, he gets embarrassed and averts his gaze. Isn't that the sweetest thing? My Henry is the cutest. I bet you never get to see his tender side like that, do you? Are you jealous? Go on, you are, aren't you? It's okay to admit you're in pain, honey. Anyone would be in your situation. Love is the most amazing thing. I don't need to hear any more about your absurd delusions, thanks. Excuse me? Listen, Alyssa. It's becoming increasingly obvious to me now that you don't know your place. Should I put you out of your misery and tell you? My place? You seem totally oblivious to it, but you should know that you're already well on the way to being divorced by a hunky Henry. And living a life of despairing isolation and poverty as a single mother. The wheels are in motion, my dear, and there are no brakes on this train. As for me, my future as Henry's wife is already a dead certainty. Everyone knows that to have a rich, handsome husband is the ultimate status symbol for any woman. Basically, soon I'll have reached the peak of female excellence, and my status will be higher than all of the moms at kindergarten put together. And obviously, this part should go without saying, but it's your job as the lowest IQ moron of all the moms at kindergarten to follow my orders and do exactly as I say. That's why I hereby order you to divorce your husband. Hand him over. He's mine. Wow, this is really quite something, Christine. You know, just because you just got divorced yourself doesn't give you the right to go around trying to get your claws into other girls' guys. Huh? What the hell? What are you talking about? Me? Divorced? I didn't get divorced at all. No. That's not how this goes down at all. What's actually going to happen is that once mine and Henry's engagement is official, I'll be filing for divorce with my husband, but not a moment before. That convenience store across the road from the bank Henry works at, you started working part-time there a little while ago, right? Huh? How do you know that? According to my conversations with the other staff who work the same shift as you at the store, you've been going around seemingly half bragging about how your husband divorced you when he found out you had another boyfriend, and how you didn't have a choice but to pay him every cent of the compensation he demanded from you in court. You told them all about the circumstances leading up to your divorce with such boldness and forthrightedness that it almost seemed like you were proud of it. The reason you suddenly got a job after ridiculing me for God knows how long for being a working woman while extolling the virtues of being a stay-at-home housewife is because you suddenly owed your ex-husband massive amounts of compensation after the divorce and no longer had anyone to support you. You had no choice but to get a job and actually support yourself for a change, right? No. Oh my God. Wait a sec. How did you... That's not all. You were constantly bragging about how your new boyfriend worked at the bank across the road. You wouldn't have happened to have been talking about my husband, Henry, would you? It's actually impressive that you're still totally oblivious to how much you disgust him. To quote him, "She makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end." Your visits to the bank have even gotten so bad that his co-workers have been forced to talk to you several times and are now considering banning you from the premises entirely. And yet you still don't have a clue how unwelcome you are, do you? No. You hold your horses for just 1 second, Missy. What the hell is this? Those were all personal conversations held in the privacy of the convenience store staff room. How would you know about them? You don't even work there. Yep, I knew it. You don't know, do you? I guess it was only a recent development. What was? I'm the area manager for every single store in the region. Huh? The hiring of part-time and temp workers is still down to the store manager, so I don't have any say in that. But come to think of it, I still haven't shown my face at the store while you've been on shift, have I? Area manager? Wait, I've heard that title before. Aren't they even more important than the store manager? And it's you? Yep, it's me. In other words, I'm your boss. What? This is some kind of joke. You cannot be serious. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. You're fired. What the heck? Where did that come from all of a sudden? Listen, Christine, the thing is, I've been receiving constant complaints from the store manager about how you have an awful attitude and refuse to do any work at the store. You were so busy bragging about your alleged boyfriend working at the bank across the road that you thought you were above doing anything else, like you were somehow exempt from doing the job you were literally just hired to do. You even went as far as harassing Henry's co-workers at the bank when they stopped by the store to buy their lunch by aggressively trying to extract information about my husband from them. Don't even get me started on when Henry himself came in. You followed him so closely you may as well have been glued to him. You weren't only reported to the store manager by your co-workers, but you even made other customers feel uncomfortable with your creepy, unacceptable behavior. Me? Reported to the store manager? I had him check the surveillance cam footage, and sure enough, your conduct at work was horrendous. So after stopping by for a meeting with the manager, we decided that you stepping down was the only realistic solution, because we sure as hell couldn't let you carry on working there. Oh my God, you're horrible! To think you're abusing your powers as area manager just because Henry is about to leave you for me? This is disgusting. I'll have you in court for this. That's your response to everything I just told you? Seriously? I guess I shouldn't be surprised after everything, but you still somehow managed to astound me. You should know that Henry has zero intention of leaving, nor divorcing me. Huh? What do you mean? Don't be silly. Of course he does. How can you still not get it? I literally just told you. You've been causing Henry a world of trouble, and he is sick of you. Me? He's sick of me? Want some proof? How about the fact he's barely been stopping by the store since you started stalking him every time he showed up? You must have noticed he hasn't been around as much, right? He hated you following him around so much that he started getting his coworkers to pick up his lunch instead of having to face you himself. What? No, but Henry loves me. Anyway, you'll probably receive official notice from the store manager soon. You're fired. We won't be needing you to show up for your shift tomorrow. No way, but I worked so hard to get this job, and I need the money. I just got divorced, goddammit. My husband even took custody of our son. My life's a dumpster fire, for crying out loud. I am barely managing to get by as it is, and now you're saying I'm fired? Ugh. I don't want to have to look for a new job. I worked so hard to get this one. In that case, you should have worked a little harder to keep a hold of it instead of using it as an opportunity to stalk my husband. Make no mistake, the reason for your dismissal is the continued refusal to do even the bare minimum of work. If you'd just done your job and not stalked my husband, I would have had no issue with keeping you on. But you're the area manager. Surely all it will take is one word from you and this whole thing would go away, right? Excuse me? Me and you are friends, right? We became best friends after meeting outside the kindergarten. Your husband took full custody of your son, did he not? Huh? Which means our kids, our initial point of contact, no longer serve as a medium through which I am forced to continue our relationship. I'll never have to tolerate you outside of kindergarten again, and I gotta tell you, Christine, I am super relieved by that. What? You're relieved? All right, I think we're done here. Alyssa, please wait. I can't cope on my own. I mean it. I'm all alone and I don't know what to do. See ya. I was shocked to discover the reason Christine initially got the hots for my husband is because he was the bank clerk who helped her make the compensation payment to her ex-husband after he divorced her. Henry, being good at his job, was naturally very friendly and polite to her and kept a smile on his face throughout the whole interaction. Christine, being completely insane, mistook that as him having a crush on her. When I asked Henry about it, he said he didn't even remember it. Eventually, Christine, after having her life smashed into smithereens by the mother of all deluded misunderstandings and an unhealthy obsession with other women's husbands, had no choice but to move back in with her parents in the middle of nowhere. However, around the same time, she got wind of the news that her first ever boyfriend had just divorced his wife. True to form, of course, crazy Christine interpreted this as him wanting to rekindle their old flame and spend the rest of his life with her. With that, she launched a stalking campaign so intense, it made what she did to Henry look like a warm-up. She lay in wait outside the poor guy's house every night before trying to force her way inside with him when he got back from work. When that failed, she crammed his postbox full with thousands upon thousands of love letters. Eventually, he was so terrified he got the police involved, leading to a restraining order being put out and Christine having to pay thousands of dollars in compensation. Before long, the whole town knew about her insane shenanigans, and her parents were forced to kick her out due to the shame and embarrassment. I have no idea where she is now, and to be honest, I couldn't be more pleased about that. Mac, we're breaking up.
Huh? What the hell? Where did that come from all of a sudden? Lexi? What's going on?
I just told you, didn't I? We're breaking up. The engagement is off.
Seriously, what the hell? You got me so off guard here, I don't even know what to say.
It might seem sudden to you, but I promise you, I've been thinking about doing this for a long, long time.
But we only have 2 more months until the wedding, Lexi.
Exactly. It's precisely because we're so close now that I had to stop and do some serious soul searching. When I thought about what kind of family we'd end up being, what our home life would be like, what kind of married couple we'd be, I've been doing all sorts of thinking about what our married life would look like, you know? And I'm sorry, Mac, but it's just not the life I imagined for myself.
Huh? Huh? How do you mean?
How should I put this? It's like, no matter how hard I try, I find it impossible to imagine us having a future together. Or rather, when I picture what my idea of happily married life looks like, you're not a part of it. I guess you could say I was finally honest enough with myself to accept that.
What are you saying?
It's important to have a vision for the future, you know? Especially when you find yourself stood on the precipice of one of life's major turning points. But when you're about to embark on a new start and you're already having major doubts, you have to stop and have a difficult conversation with yourself about whether it's truly what's right for you. Look on the bright side. At least we didn't actually end up getting married, so we both get to come out of the other side without becoming divorcees. So please, just agree to breaking off the engagement so we can both move on.
I'm gonna need some time for this, Lexi. This has all been so sudden, and I need some time to process everything you just told me before I can give you a proper answer.
Come on, Mac, is it really that difficult?
Nothing you say will change my mind. I need time to process this.
Fine, I'll give you 3 days.
Just 3 days?
Actually, I think I'm being pretty generous, because nothing you say will change my mind. Which means 3 days is a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. That said, I get that you're shocked, so I'm willing to compromise. I understand how you feel, so are you gonna meet me halfway and consider my feelings too?
Fine, I'll message you in 3 days then.
Just remember that no matter how long you wait, nothing's gonna change my mind.
Mac, I just saw the message you sent me last night. I'm so sorry I couldn't reply straight away, bro. I was on night shift and we're not allowed to take our phones outside the locker room while on the premises. Hey, Tony. Sorry for sending you such a weird message out of nowhere. Lexi dropped a bombshell on me and she said that she wants to break off the engagement and I didn't know who else to talk to about it. Don't sweat it. I'm your friend. And I wouldn't want you to go through this alone, so I'm glad you reached out to me. I'm sorry if I worried you. Thanks, buddy. I see. So is that why? Is that why? Listen, Mac, there's something about Lexi you should know. Huh? I'm sorry to tell you this when you've already got a broken heart, cause it's probably gonna sting a little. But you might want to deal with it immediately, so I don't really have a choice. Whoa, what is this? Whoa, what is it? You're scaring me now. This all happened about 2 months ago. I saw Lexi while I was on my way to work a few times, but every time I did, she was with some other dude. Huh? Wait, what? I saw them together in the same place every time. Every time I saw them, they were walking down the long street you come onto. Every time I saw them, they were walking down the long street you come onto after turning right out of McPherson Station. I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you where that street goes, right? That's where all the hotels are. Bingo. The first time I didn't think anything of it. I figured she was probably just with some guy friend, and they just happened to be walking that way while on their way somewhere else. But from the second time onwards, I had a bad feeling not only due to her being with the same guy again, but also they were way too intimate with each other just to be friends. I see. I'm sorry I waited so long to tell you, buddy. I just didn't know the right way to go about it. When I saw them again yesterday, I got super annoyed with myself for keeping it quiet all this time and swore to tell you. I was actually going to do it today. I can tell it's been eating away at you, Tony, and I'm sorry to hear that. don't feel bad, okay? I understand why you didn't tell me. Thank you. What are you gonna do next? Well, first of all, it's safe to say the engagement's officially off, and I'm gonna need proof of the affair. But there's no doubt about it. Me and Lexi have been drifting apart for a long time. I always did my best to talk to her as much as I could, to make time for date nights and things, and I tried to make her happy, I really did, but for some reason, nothing seemed to work. She always just seemed so distant. In a way, I'm actually pleased, because now I know why. Now, I can happily break off the engagement. Mac, I get you want to put on a brave face, but it's normal for this to suck, you know? It's fine, really. Anyway, once the engagement's been canceled, I'll have to deal with the small matter of how to make sure Lexi takes full responsibility for what she did. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help, pal. I'm always here. I might just do that. Thanks, Broseph. Lexi, I've decided to break off the engagement.
Wow, really? Gee, thanks, babe. To be honest, I was kind of worried you'd dig your heels in and refuse. I'm really pleased you've decided to be a mature, responsible adult about it. Oh yeah, one more thing. As for letting everyone know we're breaking off the engagement, I think it's best we both tell our parents, friends, and all the people we invited to the wedding individually. There's no need to go making a big drama out of the whole thing, right? You've agreed to go along with the engagement, so let's deal with the rest quietly before going our separate ways for good.
You're right. That works fine for me for the time being.
Thanks for being so mature about us breaking up. To tell you the truth, I already found my new boyfriend. It's not easy being this much of a hit with the guys, you know. Anyway, I think we're just about done here. I'm so pleased that we were able to part ways on such good terms. Now it's time for a clean break. Woohoo! Bye-bye.
Mac, something crazy happened. You gotta hear this. What is it? It turns out the guy Lexi was cheating on you with is one of my coworkers. Wow, are you serious? Yeah, and get this. He has a reputation for being the most useless, deadweight blockhead at the company. He's such a pain in the ass that he routinely gets passed from department to department because no one wants anything to do with him. He just got assigned to my department today, so I finally saw his face for the first time. But I've been hearing rumors about him here for years. He's somewhat of a legendary figure at my company for being so damn useless. I thought he looked familiar when I saw him at morning call. Then I remembered he was the dude I kept seeing Lexi walking towards the hotel district. Wow, what are the odds? Now that I think about it, the street next to McPherson Station where I kept seeing him isn't that far away from my workplace. Obviously, I can't be sure, but I can say there's a pretty strong chance he's been meeting up with Lexi there after work for months. I see. Yeah, and that's not all. I don't know whether it's because he's trying to assert himself as the hotshot new guy in my department or whether this is just what he's always like, but he literally didn't stop bragging about himself all day. He even mentioned you and Lexi. What? Well, let me be clear. He didn't specifically say your names, but he was bragging about how he stole some loser's fiancée and making himself out to be this huge stud in front of all of the female employees. Then he went around the whole office showing everyone a photo of him with Lexi before jumping on my desk and playing air guitar while spinning his head around like some wannabe rock star and yelling, "Don't challenge the stallion," at the top of his voice. Wow, are you for real? Sadly, yes. It turns out instead of totally being dead weight at the office, he's also a total jerk who thinks stealing another dude's girl is something to brag about. Does this guy have mental problems? That was my first thought, but then I realized that would be an insult to people with mental problems. The guy's something else. I'm pretty sure it became universally hated in my department within 5 minutes of meeting everyone. What's his name? Bartholomew Abe. What? What is it? No way. Unless I'm thinking of someone else with the same name. Which, let's face it, it's pretty unlikely. That's the jerk who used to bully everyone at my high school. No way. Seriously? Hang on a sec. Could it be? I think this could be his way of getting revenge on me for what happened back then. Revenge? To cut a long story short, he had a crush on my cousin. He wouldn't stop following her around school, writing her love letters and asking her out on dates. But she wasn't interested, so I kind of ended up becoming her bodyguard. I often used to hear about how much he hated me for it, but since I was bigger than him and trained Wing Chun, he never had any balls to say anything to my face. Wow, I see. Anyway, if it really is him, I have a little trick up my sleeve. What are you gonna do? Me and him both grew up in the same town and we know a lot of the same people, which means gathering information on him is gonna be a piece of cake. I see. Alright, that sounds promising. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll pretend I don't know you and feign ignorance if he starts boasting about stealing Lexi again. Yeah, could you? That'd be great. Sorry you got dragged into this crap, bud. If you find out anything else, it'd be great if you could let me know as soon as possible. You have nothing to be sorry for, Mac. And sure, of course.
Mac, what the hell is this letter that just showed up at my mom and dad's place? You better start explaining right now. Why in God's name would I pay you compensation? Not only that, but why in the crap would I cover all the wedding expenses?
Which part don't you understand? Isn't it obvious? You're the one who called off the engagements, so why would you get out of footing the bill?
What are you talking about? Why should I pay you compensation when we didn't even get married? Are you stupid?
I should be asking you that. This was hardly a regular breakup, was it? We had the wedding venue booked, invites sent, a band hired, a cake ordered, your dress, my tux. We had everything in order, Lexi. The wedding company explained in advance there'd be a cancellation fee of the quoted amount plus 30% in the event of a cancellation within 3 months of the wedding day. Not only did the representative explain in person when we went in, but we both signed a contract and received email copies of the terms and conditions.
Huh?
I went through all of the cancellation procedures myself. And not only that, but I had to borrow the money from elsewhere because I didn't have enough left after spending so much on the wedding. Obviously, I was going to bill you for everything when you're the one who called off the engagement. Am I doing something wrong here? Please feel free to go through my messages again and pick fault if I'm mistaken somehow, because I assure you I'm not.
Fine. Well, what about the compensation?
You can still claim compensation without getting married, you dummy.
Wait, what? No way. You're lying.
Not only that, but you cheated on me.
What? No, I did not.
Sorry, Lexi, but you're not going to be able to lie your way out of this one. I put the proof of the affair, including pictures of you being intimate with your lover in public, in a separate brown envelope inside the compensation bill letter.
No way. That's what's in the envelope?
Get back in touch with me once you've taken a look inside if you dare.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. How did you find out?
Shall I be completely honest with you?
Tell me.
I'm so sorry. I almost fell over laughing when I realized how easy you made it to collect proof you were cheating on me.
What?
You do know that your lover, Bartholomew Abe, was in my class in high school, right?
Sure I did, but so what? What's your point?
So you should have known he was the most hated guy in my entire neighborhood too, right?
Huh?
Not only that, but he was also hated by the very kinds of people you do not want to make enemies of. Which is why when I headed back into town and enlisted the help of some of my old friends in the form of calling in some favors with their connections, I had enough evidence to prove the affair 10 times over within just a few days.
It was really that easy?
Come on, Lexi, face reality. Even without the help of my friends, it was never going to be difficult to prove he was going around bragging to everyone who'd listen about how he'd stolen Mac's fiancée and was now officially the superior male. He even posted photos and videos of you both together in the office group chat.
God damn it, that moron. Are you being serious right now?
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Bartholomew wouldn't happen to have stopped messaging you these last few days, would he?
Well, yes. I thought it was just because he's busy since getting moved to a new department at work.
I have some friends who work at one of the office buildings outside the hotel district near McPherson Station. They gave me several witness accounts reporting seeing him going into one of the hotels with a young blonde a total of 5 times over the last 2 days.
Wait, what? Bartholomew with another woman? But why? Why would he do this to me? I thought we had something special. You've got to be kidding me. I broke off my engagement for that asshole.
There's one more thing you should know. Apparently, Bartholomew's uncle found out about his nephew's misdeeds for the first time yesterday, as well as kindly agreeing to shoulder the burden for the compensation his nephew's gonna owe me. He also drove him out to a remote mountain temple run by a small group of Shaolin monks who operate a rehabilitation facility for violent criminals, ex-drug addicts, and other various breeds of social misfit. Something tells me you won't be hearing from him again.
What?
Anyway, I think we're pretty much done here. Make sure I get my compensation and repayment on the wedding expenses sooner rather than later, okay? My lawyer's on standby, should I need him.
Oh my god, is this real life? How can you just keep springing extra crap on me? I don't even understand what's happening anymore.
A few days after our last messages, Lexi's parents showed up at my place and apologized profusely for their wayward daughter's sickening behavior and cheating on me and breaking off the engagement. They told me they took all the savings from her bank account and sold all of their possessions in an effort to come up with some money. With that, they lowered their heads in shame and handed me an envelope containing the exact amount I requested in the invoice I sent before going home. Sadly, I can't say Lexi responded in as dignified and responsible a fashion as her parents. Apparently, she still carried on claiming to be the victim in the whole thing and showed no signs of repenting for her behavior. At their wits' end, and having heard about Bartholomew's uncle sent him to the mountain temple for rehabilitation, Lexi's parents decided to enter her into a monastery for 2 years in the hope that the nuns there would teach her how to be a decent human being. As for Bartholomew, of course his departure for the mountain temple meant he left my company. I got the funniest text from my boss a few days later. Apparently, as soon as it was announced that Bartholomew was leaving, the entire office erupted into thunderous cheering and applause. To be honest, even having him around for the short space of time we did was a huge pain in the ass for all of us. Which is why me and 2 of my co-worker buddies have decided to go on a guy's vacation to Mexico to decompress.